Hi students, this video is Access 1 textbook problem. Go ahead and download the two files that you get in MindTap, and we will get started on page Access 4 in the book. First document that I want you to open is the R2G-1. Open this up, maximize it, and check out what we have. We have tables, we have queries, we have forms and reports. Know that your name of your database is always at the top. You have the tabs when you click. Remember, you have the tabs. You have the shutter box or the shutter bar that you can open and close if it gets frustrating for you. And they also call this the navigation pane. What it would like you to do first, or what I would like you to do first, is go ahead and click on the trips table. And notice that trips table is always in datasheet view to begin with, unless you set it up differently. To change the views, remember, you can go up to the top and change the views or use the status bar. A table is just a building block for databases because it stores all your data. Let's go ahead and open up the trip sales query. And let's just open up that one. That's good enough. So know that a query selects just a subset data from more than one table typically. And so in this case, you see trip sales query is data from all three of our tables, the trips, the sales, and the customers, because if you go to relationships, you can see that there are links between those three. Let's go back. Entering or editing data in this object will go ahead and change it for the entire database, so know that you can do that. Next, let's look at a form, and this is the customer roster form that we're going to look at. The roster, or I should say the form, is just a data entry screen. Users usually prefer a form for data entry because forms present information in a certain layout that makes it easy for the consumer or the customer to perform each task. We also have a report to look at, so let's go to trip sales. And know that reports are just a way to professionally print and distribute this, or you can distribute this electronically. Since we're done with this, you can go ahead and just choose the close button at the top right-hand corner. Next, we have our new Microsoft Access database that it gave you. You have a grading table and you have a form that tells you what to do inside this. We're going to go ahead and I'm going to enable the content, and we're going to start the project now. First thing it wants us to do is open a just a minute, I thought we had it. Oh yeah, okay, we're going to create, and we're going to create, and notice there's different ways. We're going to create this using the design, so when you create it, it's not going to start in the database form, it's going to start in the design form. Same way, but you just see it start out with design, and notice that it's not saved yet, and that's okay. We can go ahead and type in the information that we'd like to. So let's go ahead and do our field names. The first one that we're going to have is cust ID, and we're going to name, we're going to do this an auto number. We're going to have first name, last name, phone, and birthday. And birthday is a date. We're going to go ahead and switch this over to data view. Yes, we want to save it. We're going to save this as, I'm looking at it, customers. That's okay. Let's go ahead, and the first one's auto number, so we're going to press tab. Our first entry is going to be our name. The phone number that we're going to use is 555-666-1777. You can go ahead and enter a birthday. And notice that I made a mistake on purpose to show you that I put 1/32/1990. It notices that we did not enter the information correct. So I'm going to press the escape key and I'm going to go back in and change it to 31. I'm going to press enter and I am going to close the customer table. When you close it, I don't want you to save it if you haven't already saved. Let's see. Let's go ahead and create a new table. I'm going to do table design again. And this time I'm going to type comment ID. You always want an auto number. We're going to do comment text. Let's make this one long text. Let's do comment date. And let's do customer ID with a number. Let's go ahead and change the view. It's going to want you to save. Say yes. Let's save it as comments. It's going to say that you didn't set a primary key. Know that a primary key field is a unique data, contains unique data for each field or each record. You'll identify a primary key later, so don't worry about it right now. You can just say no. I think the first time I said yes and it just set the first one, which is fine. Let's go ahead and put some comment text in. Wants to help with the Rose Bowl Parade. Notice you can't see the whole thing, so if you want to, remember it's like an Excel spreadsheet. You can just auto-fit the contents. The date we're going to put in is 1/7/2017. Customer ID we're going to put as number 1. Remember the ID can be like a student ID number as well. Let's go ahead and close out of this table. Say yes if you haven't saved. Now we're going to set the primary keys. So the primary key field has 2 important purposes. The first one is it contains data that's unique that identifies each record. So no 2 records can have the exact same entry in this field. The second reason, a primary key field helps relate one table to another. So when we're using that one-to-many relationship where one record from one table may be related to many records in the second table, that's why we would use the primary key. The primary key field is always on the one side of the one-to-many field. So let's take a look at an example of this. So we're going to open up both comments and customers. So I'm going to want to go back into the data view or the design view to set the primary key. I'm going to set the primary key for this comment ID. So I'm going to set primary key and it should have a key beside it. I'm going to click on customers. I'm going to do the same, get into design view and make sure customer ID is the same. So notice that we did comment ID here, customer ID here, because if we use these 2 tables, that's going to be the one thing that will link to many things on another table. Go ahead and let's right click and close all. It may tell you to save before you do that. So now that we've set our primary keys, we need to connect the tables in that one-to-many relationship to just see the benefits of this type of database. A one-to-many relationship, remember, between 2 tables means that one record from the first table is related to many records in the second table. So you use a common field to make this connection. So that's why our field names are the same sometimes. The common field is always the primary key field in the one side of the relationship. So let's look at an example of this. Let's go ahead and open up customers. Oops. Got to go to relationships first, don't we? Database, relationships. Mine's a little bit different than yours. I can add them because it's a newer version, but remember you can drag yours over. So we have comments and we have customers, and I'm going to make sure customers is on this side, on the left-hand side, because I want you to see this relationship. We're going to connect customer ID to customer ID. We're going to enforce this relationship. And when we enforce this relationship, it shows a line from one to many, which is the infinity sign to indicate many. And think about this as in this R2G database, we're identifying customers related to each comment. So they can define one customer can make more than one comment. And so only one customer ID is going to be on this side with their information, but there can be more than one comment. So hopefully that makes more sense to you. We're going to go ahead and close. It'll prompt you to save, and let's save that. Let's double click on the customers, and when you do that, it's going to go into data mode. We're going to make some more data entry. Let's go first. We're going to make up 2 names and information. So I'm just going to use my son's. Just take a second and do that. You can make up their date, their birthdays this time. And now the rest are ones that we have to have the same. So we have Nastia Galloway. And this is 555. We have Sean Lincoln. Aaron North. Okay. And now we have some records. Now that we have these records, we're going to notice that the auto number is in place. Know that the auto number is where Access is going to automatically enter the next consecutive number into the field that it creates. So if you delete a record or get interrupted when entering a record, Access is going to discard that number and it's going to place a new number in. You've seen some of this issues before. It's really shouldn't matter in the real world, but sometimes Access with MindTap, this will bother it. There is a way around this unique value, and you can find a video to help you in Canvas. Let's go ahead and edit our data. So we're going to go up into the second record and change the phone number. Oh, I got it right. 111-222-333. And we're going to edit the birthday in as 2/2/1992. Okay. We're going to do the phone number in the third. Let's change that to 111-222-4444. Press escape and see what happens. So notice what happened when you pressed escape. It once removes the current field's editing changes. It's like pressing undo, which is kind of amazing. A computer teacher would think that is amazing. And now let's go ahead and type in the birthday as 3/1/83. We're going to go down to the 5th, Sean Lincoln, and we're going to delete that record. Remember, when you delete it, automatically delete, or it will delete it permanently, rather. And let's go ahead and say yes.